Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Two Buds One Podcast, episode 49. I am your host, the Techno Jelly, with my co-host Alchem Games. Alchem, today there was actually a lot of pretty interesting news style stuff, and I think the biggest one was 100%. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it is actually something that we talked about before. We've talked about it on the podcast. We've talked about it just in general, and I've talked about it in my personal own videos, is that the FTC has finally dropped its case on the Microsoft purchase over Activision Blizzard.
I think we covered that before, but yeah, this is big news
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
actually dropped
Yeah,
it
we
and
definitely covered it
it's going
before.
through.
Yeah, but the FT, like, before I think we covered the actual like case and like they were trying to stop it, but now they've officially dropped the case. It is now full on. Microsoft is allowed to buy Activision Blizzard King, and they always say Activision Blizzard. I thought it was Activision Blizzard King, which is the full like company name, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because like my sources that I look at are gaming sources generally, so they don't really look at King, even though they are 100% the reason they're buying them. But yeah, so it is officially being dropped in the Court of Appeals, because they initially, the FTC attempted to block it because of the threat to competition, specifically in first party titles and subscription services. But pretty much everyone in existence said that's never going to fly. Like, Microsoft doesn't have a monopoly of anything. Like, the one that you could argue maybe is subscription services, because the Xbox Game Pass is pretty dominant, but like the Sony subscription service is pretty popular. Same with Nintendo's is pretty popular. So it's hard to say that like it's not a monopoly, and it just straight up isn't. So there's no way you can. There's just no way.
Maybe back when it was still like the semi-juggernaut, not that it was, maybe a few years back, sure.
But even
But
then,
now,
like,
no.
it.
Yeah. No, I mean that would be the only time that consideration would be taken.
Yeah.
But honestly, now it's like no,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. There's no monopoly at all, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And in first party titles, Microsoft, that means Microsoft needs to release games, and for a good couple years they weren't. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hence why I was like, yeah, maybe a few years back, sure, that would be considered, but
yeah,
now it's not even a thought.
Not even close.
No.
So, yeah. It's going through. It's most likely going to be $68.7 billion in terms of the actual purchasing price. And this technically happened a couple weeks ago, but it is now like public in terms of like the documentation and all that type of stuff. Obviously, I read through some of it, but it is just legal stuff. It's legal stuff, so it's a pretty big document and it says a lot of stuff, but in the gist of it is they're dropping the case, and because they were denied by the courts. So yeah, so Activision Blizzard is going to be officially purchased by Microsoft now, and I'm just honestly, for me personally, I'm just happy this is happening, just so we can move on, because I feel like Blizzard and Activision have been kind of like waiting for this. Same with Microsoft, because like they can't like really, because if the deal wasn't allowed for some whatever reason, there's so many other things that like there's different directions they can go depending on what happened. So they're kind of like in limbo and making decisions, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Speaking of direction, Shelly, where do you think this will go?
I mean, I think the biggest one is all Blizzard games are going to be on Game Pass now. Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass.
And it was already, but I guess, yeah.
Okay. But like they're on there as first party titles now, so like it's never going to be not on Game Pass, you know? Because like games on Game Pass do go away eventually sometimes when it's third party. But in first party titles, I doubt they're ever going to leave. You know what I mean?
No.
And I think the biggest thing for Microsoft when it comes to Blizzard is Blizzard, because at least from the last like 5 years, we've learned a lot about Activision's relationship with Blizzard, and it was very touchy pokey, hands on, disruptive of Blizzard. Now, I'm not trying to give Blizzard a scapegoat. They've made a lot of terrible decisions as well, but I think Microsoft's Microsoft kind of just lets their studios do their studios things as long as they're making video games and they're like doing things. Microsoft, it seems that Microsoft doesn't really go on a hands-on approach. They kind of let their studios do their own thing and say, okay, make this game. It's going to be on Xbox. It's going to be on Game Pass, and it's going to be on like they tell them this is what they expect of them. Do that. How they get to that point of where they're going to be releasing the games and stuff like that, they don't really care as long as it gets there. Like if I'm sure right now behind the scenes, Microsoft is telling all its studios to make sure it can run on the mobile Xbox that they're making, the totally not Steam Deck, the that they're probably making. That's pretty much confirmed, but Microsoft hasn't confirmed it, even though everyone's seen it basically. So that's probably going to be the biggest thing, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, the thing that I feel like a lot of gamers, like myself and you probably as well, is that they own King now. And for anyone who doesn't know, King, they're the people who made Candy Crush. So, like, that's the big purchase. Now, Microsoft owns King, which owns Candy Crush and all that type of stuff. So the mobile market, Microsoft now just dominates the mobile market. Let's be real. Like, they own Candy Crush. So that is a big one for them. And then Activision, obviously, with COD and all the other things. And to be fair, honestly, like, Activision has slowly kind of put its act together with the newer Call of Duties for the most part. Warzone, apparently, people are somewhat enjoying, at least from my... Okay, it's hard to say because the online COD community is very whiny. But, like, it still has, like, 6 million players. So, I mean, obviously, they're doing something right still. And I mean, like Tony Hawk coming back too, like with the Tony Hawk series, and that's still being an Activision thing too, so that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
with the remakes coming out, so that's pretty good.
Interesting.
I'm curious. I think the biggest thing is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you go ahead. I want to hear.
I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing for the Blizzard side is what does this mean for the Blizzard properties that aren't being utilized right now? So, is Heroes of the Storm going to get revitalized, and is StarCraft going to get revitalized? Because Overwatch 2 is on an up and up right now. They've been doing a lot of good things. I've heard a lot of good things about Overwatch 2. You know, I'm still not going to re-download it because I have PTSD. But good for them. The 2 in Overwatch 2 makes sense now finally, which is good. I'm glad they finally got there. It only took them like 3 years. Diablo 4, while I've seen some people complain about it, for the most part is fine. The problem is that Diablo 4 is fighting Diablo is not the or like it is the dominant kind of, but like it's not the only action RPG there is now. Like when Diablo 2 came out, what other action RPGs are there? You know, when Diablo 3 came out, what other action RPGs out there? But nowadays, PoE exists, and like PoE is a big competition for them, especially with Path of Exile 2. So, and when Path of Exile 1 came out, it's true that it was popular, but it wasn't as popular as Diablo 3 and Diablo 2. But now Path of Exile, I think it is actual competition now for them. And after the years and years and years of building the community with Path of Exile 1 and stuff like that. So Diablo 4 is a little more in the question. I also know Diablo Immortal, even though everyone hates it, makes so much money in Asia. Diablo Immortal makes crazy amounts of money in Asia, so that is doing well. So it's really like, when it comes to the Blizzard games, it's really, what are they going to do with StarCraft, Here's the Storm, and Warcraft? And are they going to do anything with it? Because one thing that I'm not sure if you know, Alchem, is Microsoft really loves StarCraft. Microsoft used to have an official StarCraft team when it first StarCraft 2 team. When Wings of Liberty and when StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty first came out, a bunch of Microsoft employees made a Microsoft branded StarCraft team, and they fought other brands. Like they fought other brands in StarCraft. Like they love StarCraft. And when the first announcement of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard came out, the official Xbox, Twitch, and YouTube channel started streaming StarCraft 2. There's a lot of employees that really enjoy StarCraft in Microsoft still. So I'm interested if they're going to try to push for something for StarCraft to be done, because like I know you don't I know you aren't very into StarCraft, but StarCraft is not a dead game in terms of player base, but it is a dead game in terms of content. There are no content patches coming to StarCraft 2. And Brood War never patched that game. I refuse. So I'm interested to see if they're going to try to do something with StarCraft. I really hope they make just a new game and it not be like, even though this sounds sacrilegious, I don't want them to make an RTS. Don't make a real-time strategy game, please, Blizzard. Real-time strategy games, it's just not the right time. Like, people need to you need to remind people what StarCraft is first, because unfortunately the people who play StarCraft aren't leaving StarCraft. Like, even if you make StarCraft 3, I'm not entirely convinced that they'll stay with StarCraft 3, because I mean, people who played StarCraft Brood War didn't really go to StarCraft 2. The only reason StarCraft 2 was a huge hit was because so many new people came. So it's yeah, so and I'm also curious, are they going to try to port World of Warcraft on console?
That's I was thinking of that, but I think that's too absurd. The game's too massive for that.
I mean, Final Fantasy 14 has a console port. It's possible.
That's true.
It's on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure, right? So, like,
yeah,
it can be done. And
I suppose, but I feel like there's too many button inputs for that kind of game to actually port properly, at least.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when you're porting that game, you're not going for the hardcore raiding crowd that needs all those buttons, right? You're going for the people who enjoy leveling and enjoy the story and want to see cool things, you know? Like, you're going after the crowd that doesn't really play MMOs.
I would yell at them so bad. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I would be screaming. Like, how could you die like that? And then looks at...
I mean, they wouldn't be in your queue. They wouldn't be in their queue. You wouldn't be in the queue, let's be honest. Yeah. Like, they wouldn't be queuing for raids and stuff like that. I just doubt it. They'd be leveling, having fun, their own fun. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they try to do anything with console and World of Warcraft. I mean, honestly, just having World of Warcraft on Game Pass as well might be insane. Just on the PC Game Pass. I'm pretty sure, like, that does that already exist? I don't think it is on there.
No, yet. I don't think they're going to do that because, one, that's a subscription-based thing. At least from what I remember, it's
but there is a free trial of World of Warcraft. You could play up to level 20. Like, what if they put that with a couple extra additions on Game Pass? Like, you could go up to level 30. Like, just get people in the door. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you get people in the door, then people, you never know, they might become a subscriber for life, you know?
Yeah, get them hooked early. Get them hooked while they're on console.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. It's just like, at least for the gaming world. Because, I mean, and obviously Call of Duty. Now that they own Call of Duty, what happens with that? I feel like Microsoft just lets Activision keep doing Call of Duty. I'm also interested to see what the difference is now that Activision Blizzard are going to be separate. Like, what happens? Because
I think they'll finally start taking risks and actually make stuff again.
I hope. One of the things I hope
actually,
my like, look up in the sky and hope for the best, wish upon a star style thing, is Blizzard just starts making things again. Whether it be for existing properties or not, like, just start making spin-off games of different types of genres of other properties. You know, just whatever. Just start doing things.
Make something? Make something.
Just make something. Like, I mean, like, the last IP Blizzard, the new IP Blizzard made was Overwatch in 2016. It's been almost 10 years since a new game, like a new IP, came out from Blizzard. You know? And
do you remember when they used to make games?
Yeah. And Overwatch 2, and I mean, to be fair, they've made, you know, Overwatch 2, Diablo 4. If you count the mobile games, they also made Diablo Immortals.
Their history is really, really good, yes. It's just like,
but like,
they haven't made anything in the recent days.
But a brand new game from Blizzard might be pretty interesting. Or even just some spin-off games, like some smaller spin-off games might be nice, you know?
Maybe it's time for Overwatch 3. You know,
I doubt it.
Yeah, the actual version that they meant to release, maybe.
an Overwatch spin-off game where it's a PvE mode. It's just a
Wow.
player versus. It's just a co-op game.
No, wait. They actually released Titan. They actually make Titan, and there we go.
No, Titan will never happen. Titan was a bad idea. Titan was a bad idea, and you know it.
You don't believe.
Because you know what Titan is? It's called Destiny.
I
mean, that's basically the best version of Titan is probably Destiny. Because a first-person MMO doesn't really work. It just doesn't, Alchem. You know it doesn't work.
You're right. I played Destiny.
The MMO RPG, and Destiny isn't even an MMO. Let's be real. So like,
it tries to mask itself as
it tries to mask itself, but it's not. Like the MMO can really only exist with the RPG because it's really the only one that kind of goes along with that. You know, that's why MMORPGs are really the only one. Now you could have RPG, like there are so many different types of RPGs you can make with an MMO. But like first person shooter, it just doesn't work. And the only one I can really think of that kind of succeeded, but it's a very niche and like it's still got a decent player base. Oh god, I remember it. It was like it's a multiplayer game. It's an MMO. I used to play it a little bit when it first came out. I still have it on my Steam list at some point. I always look at it every once in a while. I'm like, maybe I should try this again, but I'm like, eh. I can't remember the game name now. It's in my Steam list somewhere. It's something 2. It's a sequel of something. I don't remember if you and I have ever... I don't think you and I ever talked about it. Or if we've played it. I played it a long time ago. It was before I met you. PlanetSide. PlanetSide 2.
Oh, PlanetSide.
Yeah, so that's like really the only like MMO FPS that I really know of that's still kicking around. Like it still has a relatively hardcore fan base, so... And I kind of want... Okay, Alchem, I don't know about you, but I kind of want some of those Call of Duty... Like the studios that make Call of Duty games. I kind of want them to make a not Call of Duty. Like, let them make something... Let them make something else. I want Raven... Basically...
They're obligated by the devil to make constant Call of Duty every year.
But I want Raven Software to make something other than Call of Duty. Their old school... Their games before they made COD were so interesting, man.
I'm sorry, they sold their souls to the devil. They have to make it more.
Do you know what they made before they made COD?
I am unfamiliar, although the name does ring a bell.
Yeah, well, so they made Call of Duty from 2011 to present, but if anyone knows old school games, they made the Heretics and Hexen games. They made Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah,
they also made they also made the Jedi Knight series in Star Wars.
Yeah, they did.
Like they've made such interesting games, but unfortunately since 2011 they've made Call of Duty. And
that's when they sold their souls.
Yeah. And so like I'd be so down for them just to like, even though I'm sure most of the people in the studio weren't involved in those games, but I'm pretty sure that means Microsoft now owns those games because I think they own the IP rights now, unless they don't. I don't know, but it just I think it'd be cool to have them make the older school games or just something other than COD. I get if they don't, because, you know, Call of Duty is Call of Duty, and I don't blame them. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, the majority of the studio is probably... I mean, since they've been making COD since 2011. Most of the studio probably has only ever made COD now. I doubt the people that were made those other games are still there. So
yeah, I really doubt it.
But it'd be cool. So, yeah. I'm just happy that we can move on and see what happens. You know what I mean?
I really do hope they don't just, you know, Microsoft just kind of sits on this opportunity and does nothing. I'm sure Blizzard is actually going to take some motivation and do something.
Well, there's already rumors about new stuff. Yeah, there's already rumors about new StarCraft games because there was recently a bidding war in Korea for the StarCraft, for rights to a new StarCraft, not like the StarCraft IP, but rights for the StarCraft license, not licensing. What's the word I'm looking for? When you when you can sell stuff in a country. Not trademarking, licensing rights, no. Purchasing rights, no. I can't remember. There was a bidding war for them to sell something in Korea only. It was the licensing? Maybe it is the license, but in Korea and Japan, and it was, and it's Nexon. Nexon are the people who won. So
they know something, yeah.
So something is up. Something is happening with StarCraft specifically. It was StarCraft and Overwatch 2 mobile that was pretty much guaranteed. Also, Overwatch 2 mobile is also apparently a MOBA game. It's not a port. It's just a different game, I think, from what I've seen, which is interesting. Which I thought they already had Overwatch MOBA. It's called Heroes of the Storm because there's Overwatch characters in there, but whatever.
I honestly thought they gave up on Heroes of the Storm.
They did.
So
in terms of content, they haven't made a content patch for Heroes of the Storm for like I think 6 years. But they still update the game. They still balance the game, and they still like the server is still on. I played Heroes of the Storm a couple months ago actually, and it's still fun. I have some fundamental problems with Heroes of the Storm because of the changes they made to like the MOBA style game, but like I think it's not a dead game. It's a dead game it's a dead game in terms of content patches from Blizzard, but the community is still there. They still play the game.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Like they basically stopped making updates, but it's still alive. At least.
Content update. They still update the game. They do balance patch the game all the time. Like they have cool. I've seen like at least 2 or 3 balance patches.
Things. Yeah, in terms of like actual new stuff and new update, that's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the sad thing is Warcraft 3 has had more content updates than Heroes of the Storm at this point, since Remastered came out.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It is sad.
But yeah, I'm hoping that something now that this deal can happen and it's fully gonna they're fully gonna purchase them. And then let's see what Microsoft does with them. If they do anything at all. Like their directive could simply be continue doing what you're doing, but now we're your bosses. And now Blizzard doesn't have to answer to Activision, which I think is a good thing. And King is going to keep making tons and tons of money for Microsoft, which I'm sure makes them happy. So yeah. Because I mean that's the reason everyone talks about, like, you know, it's crazy that $68.7 billion or the $69 billion deal. The reason it's that expensive is because of King, not because of Activision or Blizzard. It's because of King. It's their mobile division. That's why it costs so much money. Because King makes crazy amounts of money, if I remember correctly.
All we have to do is wait then. God, I really hope it's not that long. I really hope they kind of just announce it sometime before the end of the year.
I don't know. It's
I know. I'm just saying I hope.
Yeah, we'll see.
But at least it's over. For now.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, they King is they make, let me just find this real fast. Because they were bought by Activision Blizzard in 2015. And okay. Oh no, this is so old. What the heck? Why are these so old? I wonder if it's because... Interesting. I wonder if it's because they just kind of stopped being King because they're technically part of Microsoft, or they were technically part of Activision Blizzard. No, interesting. Oh well, they were making a lot of money. So Alchem, kind of continuing on the updates to stories we talked about. This one is Alchem. We got our wish. We got our wish. We hoped they were going to do it. But Marathon is almost guaranteed delayed because reports came out that Sony canceled all the marketing. Officially canceled all the marketing for Marathon.
I called it from the other time.
Yeah.
Let's go.
we all called it. Yeah, so after everything came out, I mean, yeah, after everything came out, Marathon is most likely almost guaranteed to be delayed because Sony canceled the marketing plans. And it's not okay, not only that, they pushed back the marketing and pre-order plans. So like that's a big, for big companies, pre-orders are a big deal still. So the fact that they delayed that as well, because it was Bungie pushing back marketing and Sony pushing back. So
technically it's not, they haven't canceled. What they're doing is delaying because they don't feel it's ready then. I feel like they they realized that whatever direction they're going, whatever Marathon is currently, was not going to do well. I think they're not doing what Concord did and just scrap it. At least as far as we know, Concord has been scrapped. They're going to just go back to the drawing board, kind of tweak it, make some changes, and God, hope for the best, and just hopefully it isn't like, I mean, it would be a shame if they go back, redo it, or just rework it, and then just come back and it's still gonna flop.
Yeah. I mean, Sony canceled all the plans and Bungie delayed their plans of marketing and pre-orders. So like,
there's a difference
when your parent company is no longer is canceling paid marketing, like there's no way your game's coming out this year because it's supposed to come out this year. There's no way. And if Bungie is doing this and they're just, okay, it's either this outcome or it's the worst case scenario that we were thinking of, where this game comes out and dies. They're just sending out this game to die. Because they're not like it's either they're delaying the game or they're just cutting costs and not going to market it. It's going to come out and be shut down like a week, maybe a month. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I mean, they also have to do other things because of the whole art thief scandal. So like, there's so many things they have to do that I can't believe if they still release, it's insane.
So this is, I mean, okay. So I know Bungie is behind this, but it is Sony also who's got a big stake in this.
Well, Sony owns Bungie, so
yeah. So I don't think they're going to cancel it because this at least in the standpoint of a company, this will look really, really bad because this is now going to be two games that just flopped so bad they had to scrap them.
Yeah.
So if they do not sort out with Marathon and sort out with Bungie and get it all, whatever they need to do to get a decent game out of Marathon, then this will be 2 for 2, and it's gonna look really, really bad for Sony, at least in terms of game development, in terms of games this year for them.
Yeah,
which will really, really suck for them.
Yeah,
first Concord and now Bungie and now Marathon. No way.
Yeah, it's just such a terrible. It's just a terrible situation, and I feel bad for the developers because, like, seeing the gameplay, I'm like, man, if this wasn't called Marathon, I'd be more excited because, like, it's just nothing to do with Marathon, and also, like, there's people's problems with its being an extraction shooter, and it's a hero-based extraction shooter, and it just feels so out of left field. Like, why is this called Marathon? And
I don't understand why they even tried to use the Marathon IP to try to make something like.
It's just like Prey.
Yeah,
it's just like Prey.
It could have been in the universe. It could have been like in the universe of Marathon, but don't call it Marathon. You could have just inspired by Marathon. Whatever. They could have done what Apex did. It's in the universe of
Titanfall.
of Titanfall, but
Yeah.
it's not Titanfall.
Yeah, but they didn't call it Titanfall
No.
like Battle Royale or whatever. They just called this. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
definitely should have. They
yeah,
shouldn't have used the name Marathon
yeah,
as
they
the
should have
game's
done what
name.
they should have done with Apex. They just take the
Yeah.
universe, but completely different game, completely different gameplay style, and a different name, and
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
But no.
Even in the subtitle, even it could be even the sub thing is like blank game name Marathon.
A marathon at the bottom,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
little subtitle,
Yeah.
but no.
It's the full name.
And
then the
which is funny because no one even remembers Marathon. There's not that many gamers who remember Marathon back in the
Yeah.
day.
Most people
So,
who know Marathon watched videos on Marathon. They didn't play Marathon because it was a Mac game. So
yeah,
like
it was. So I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know. I've played Marathon now.
Mhm.
It's pretty fun. Very hard.
All
though.
right.
Very hard.
Well,
they were giving it away for free for a while, so I have it and I played it. And I was like, damn, I suck at this game, and it's very confusing.
Marathon back then was incredibly hard.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also pretty bad at the old school shooters. To be fair, I'm too new school shooter brained.
I was about to be like, the hell you are? I've seen you play FPSs.
No, the old school shooters, like the OG Doom and like OG like Marathon, like boomer shooters. Like I'm not very good at those.
Oh, okay.
Like Counter-Strike and like the like multiplayer shooters are different.
I would sworn Counter-Strike is kind of like the bridge between like current FPSs and previous generation ones.
I guess it really depends. The problem with the problem with that is Counter-Strike doesn't play like other shooters. Like Counter-Strike is its own different beast. Like just because you're good at like Call of Duty or Battlefield or Apex or Warzone or anything like that doesn't mean you're good at Counter-Strike because it's so different. Or even like in games in similar genres, like if you're good at Rainbow Six Siege, that doesn't necessarily mean you're good at Counter-Strike. Or if you're good at Counter-Strike, it doesn't necessarily mean you're good at Rainbow Six Siege, you know? Even though they're technically similar, they're somewhat similar games. Like round-based, bomb defusal style, attack defense style stuff.
Okay.
Like other games, you know?
Gotcha. Well.
Yeah. And the whole art stuff that happened with Marathon 2 was just so bad. So like it was just the art theft that they did.
The Bungie scam, the whole scam.
And the fact that it was like the fourth time Bungie has done this too. So it's like it's L after L after L for this game. And so if this game isn't delayed, if they don't delay it, it's being sent out to die, which I think is even worse. So I don't think they're going to do that. Like they don't have to necessarily do a full art. Like they don't have to do like a full, what's it called? Like redesign of art. Like I'm sure with the art scandal they did, they could just pay the artist. Say, hey, we're sorry. Here's money.
I love how the solution to all this is literally just bite the bullet, admit your fault, compensate the artist you stole from, and give them credit, and that's it.
And you know what you know what the most hilarious thing is, Alchem? Like the stuff that they took is just like it's not like they took like huge amounts of like thing. It's like background decals and like cool little things. So it's like Bungie, you can't tell me you couldn't afford this stuff. Like just like it's really sad. Cause like it wasn't like it was like they didn't steal enemy designs or something like that, you know? It's like they stole like posters and like logos from this artist. I'm like, guys, you can't tell me that this was not in your budget range. Like these are not expensive things. Like you like I understand that art can be expensive sometimes. I get it. It takes a long time to make this stuff. But this stuff was already made. And if you just contacted the artist and said, "Hey, name your price," or like say like, "Hey, we want to buy it for this amount," most artists would be okay with it as long as you're relatively reasonable, you know? Like you can't tell me this was going to be 6 figures worth of art assets to buy from this artist. Like it's probably 5 figures, and you could like with everything combined, because they took a lot. They took like basically this entire person's portfolio. And art style, honestly, too. Like it is like kind of like the theme of Marathon, the new theme, because it's also, you have to remember, Marathon doesn't look like old school Marathon as well. Like the graphic style is
No, not at
very,
all.
like even if you take into account of obviously the different ages of graphics,
The jump from graphics is
yeah,
like what,
it's crazy.
3-4 generations of
It's
consoles?
like 5 almost. But like
Yeah.
even if you take that account, the aesthetics of Marathon wasn't this clean aesthetic like this. You know what I mean? Like even like sure, it was a pick. Like Marathon was fighting like original Doom in terms of like their competition and stuff, and it was on the Mac too.
Yeah.
So obviously the graphics are different, but even if you just look at the style of the graphics and the style of the art and stuff like that, it's completely different. Like it's not even the same direction of the game. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, man. I hope they delay the game, and I hope that they delay the game. When they do delay it, they don't give a new date. You know what I mean, Alchem? Just say the game is delayed, and don't give a new date, and just
no.
just
Don't
disappear.
Don't box themselves in.
I want them to delay the game and disappear. Just don't talk about it until it comes out. Like it's one of those things where I think the best thing to do is just not talk about it until you have the marketing push for release.
You just want them to go on indefinite hiatus with the development.
Not
like we'll let you know when.
Yeah, well, it's like hey guys, we're gonna the marathon is gonna be delayed. Don't say a date, and then don't publicly talk about it until it is 100% ready to go out. Because I think the only way this game succeeds is, first of all, I think they need to look at the whole like hero shooter stuff, because I just don't think it's going to be. I just don't think that's gonna work. I just straight up don't think it's going to work, especially now that what's the other game, Arc Raiders exists, because the more casual extraction shooter already exists now in Arc Raiders.
Yep.
And you got the 2 hardcore ones with Tarkov and Hunt Showdown. So you can't, and from my perspective, Marathon was even more casual, because it was basically it was basically not an extraction shooter. It was a battle royale. It was a team deathmatch that you could leave the map with loot, basically. You know what I mean? Like everyone was sprinting around, sliding around. There was no cautious. There was no cautiousness, and there was also no like audio. I don't know how the like audio ratting. Like in the like when you play Tarkov, there's sometimes you're just in a corner listening. You're just in a corner staring at a wall listening.
Waiting for those footsteps to get louder and louder.
But that when I watched Marathon, that never happened. Like in Arc Raiders, like everything is audio based. Like you are constantly listening for things in Arc Raiders when I was watching people play. In Marathon, I never saw anyone care about that. They were just sprinting to the next thing. You know what I mean? Like they were just doing the thing, and then killing things and then fighting. And I just hope if that's the game they want to make, then that's the game they want to make. But you're not going after the extraction shooter crowd then. You're going after like the battle royale arena shooters people, which I'm saying, like, I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea, but I truly don't think the hero shooter stuff needs, like, if you want abilities, I think what the problem is, Alchem. I think I figured it out. I have zero problem with abilities in Marathon. In this extraction shooter, I have zero problem with abilities. I have a problem with them being hero based though. If you could have a loadout where you could equip abilities, I think that'd be totally cool. Like, I think that'd be cool. You know what I mean? Like, if you could have a specific like augments on your body, because I mean they are going for like the clean cyberpunk aesthetic, right? They're going for the futuristic augments on your body type of style. If you could have different types of augments, or even though if augments were some things you could loot and stuff like that for new abilities, I think that'd be really cool. But the fact that they're gatekeeped behind heroes, I think is the red flag for me. Because an extraction shooter, you need to care about the loot. You You want to loot stuff. You want to get cool stuff to leave. You want a reason for people to have gear fear. And I just never saw that in Marathon. I never saw anyone care. Now, to be fair, it wasn't alpha, so like that's different. But like when I was watching people play Arc Raiders, there was significant amounts of people that were like, I don't want to go in a raid with this cool gun yet because I don't know the game enough, and they keep it in their stash until they were ready to take it out. And for at least when I was watching Marathon, I never saw that. People always took out the best stuff because their abilities is what mattered. The guns didn't really matter. So
now I gotta go. Now I want to go watch more Marathon gameplay to see. Because from the ones I've seen, I don't remember them ever being this cautious as you would expect, like in Tarkov or any extraction shooter.
No, they were full sprinting everywhere. No one was ever like walking or crouch walking or anything like that.
It's been a while since I saw the video, so like, yeah, I don't really remember anyone taking it cautiously. People were playing it like, run and gun kind of thing. So
they were literally playing ground war, like they were playing domination. They were just going from objective to objective on the map. Like obviously you're not capturing flags like in domination, but like they were going from building the building, clearing out the enemies and looting the things, and then going to the extraction point.
And then
and at some point fighting, or there are the players that were just fighting the robot AI people, and then as soon as they heard player shots, they killed enemies and went straight there. Now, to be fair, that is a playstyle in these games, but like everyone was doing that. There was not a single person that I saw that was trying to be like a rat and just like being crouched, sneaking around. Which also, I think it also helps because all these things are forced 3-people parties. There is no soloing in this game. Like, I guess you could technically, what's it called? Like, not, you don't have to autofill teammates, but then you're still going into people with 3 parties. Like, it's not a solo, duo, trio style thing, queuing. No, everyone's in one queue, and if you're going solo, you're gonna go against people of 3 with 2 teammates at least, of teams of 3. So, like, it's not like the Arc Raider things where if you're solo, it tries to match you with other solos, and if you're duo, it tries to match you with other duos, and if you're trio, it tries to match you with other trios. In Marathon, if you're solo, you're most likely fighting 3-people teams. So, it's one of those reasons why everyone was just running around.
I just thought of something.
Okay.
Since they are pulling it back for now, they're probably going to rework it. I get the feeling that they will do that. They will rename it. It will be renamed to something different.
I hope so.
Trying to cover, trying to either like, either change it up from that, or trying to like kind of hide the current event.
I mean, the sad thing is that Marathon has a bad reputation already, and it doesn't even technically exist. Like, the game barely exists, and it has a terrible reputation. And Bungie themselves don't exactly have a good reputation either right now. So, I hope they rename it. Honestly, I hope they rename it, and this game comes out, and it's decent, and they make a new game called Marathon, and it's just a single-player marathon. I'd be down for that, But...
yeah.
Even if they just make... honestly, Alchem, with the like, I'm not saying remaster the old marathons because they kind of already did, but like, make a new marathon and it just be like the old ones, But we'll see what they really do. Yeah.
Only time will tell, and we just have to wait till the news, whenever that'll be.
Yeah.
Their new project or their revamped project for Marathon or whatever it's going to be called. I calling it though. I knew it was going to be before the end of the month, but I'm pretty sure.
We both called it.
Do decide to. It's going to be something new. They're going to call it something new to
hopefully
hide their shame.
So Alchem, in terms of the next story, it is technically a follow-up, but more of a broad follow-up because we've been following this company all over the place when it comes to everything they do, and generally it's sad things because it's them. Luckily, okay, I was gonna say, luckily, it's not sad. It is still sad because
It makes me sad.
there's a lot of people getting. Are they getting fired? It's hard to say if they're getting fired or not. But the reason I'm saying this is because we're talking about Embracer Group again. And Embracer Group, if you don't remember, are the people that got totally screwed over. They were buying tons and tons and tons of companies, and then were expected and getting tons and tons and tons of debt because of this. But they were buying on credit because they had a deal with a Saudi Arabian tech company for like 1 point something. It was like over $1 billion, and then that firm bailed out on them, and then all of a sudden Embracer Group had so much debt, and they started selling stuff off. So Embracer Group split in 2024, split into 3 separate companies, and one of them was called Coffeestain Group. And Coffeestain Group was their gaming indie game division group, handling a bunch of IPs and other companies.
Mm-hmm.
Coffeestain has 250 game developers under their brand, and they are being absorbed by one of the other companies. So,
I'm over here thinking, good thing, bad thing? Unknown for now.
okay, so what is happening is Coffeestain Group, or Coffeestain and Friends, is now being turned into a standalone group of community-driven game developers and publishers by the end of the calendar year in 2025. The shares in Coffeestain Group will be distributed to shareholders of Embracer and are intended to be listed in the NASDAQ First North Premier Growth Market in Stockholm at the same time. And they are also, in the same time of Coffeestain no longer becoming a thing, they are renaming Middle Earth and Friends, which was the Lord of the Rings division that they owned, basically, because Embracer owns the Lord of the digital Lord of the Rings. They're renaming that to Fellowship Entertainment, which is a much better name than Middle Earth and Friends.
That does sound,
Fellowship Entertainment is way better. So, like, okay,
far more like,
yeah. So what is happening is Coffeestain, like all the developers under Coffeestain, have technically lost their publisher, I guess, is the best way I can explain it. But they're no longer a part of Embracer Group, which is probably a good thing. So technically they've been fired, but it's just because they are no longer a part of Embracer Group, they are now independent again. Which is probably good. So a bunch of the companies that are a part of them were like, for instance, okay, so I'm slightly confused because I'm not entirely sure if this means, okay, so Coffeestain Group is still a thing. They are just not a part of Embracer Group anymore.
Yeah.
So Coffeestain is still going to exist. It's just no longer a part of Embracer Group, which is a good thing, I think. But that just means that they don't have the backing of Embracer Group, which is one of the reasons I think they joined in the first place. But I mean, the backing isn't guaranteed anymore because their Embracer Group are so broke. They're so broke that it's hilarious.
Yeah, they're like, sadly they're a sinking ship, and they had to get rid of that weight, and they thought Embracer Group, they thought Coffeestain would be one, but I mean, if they have games in the works, if they have actual product stuff that they can make, then they should be fine.
Yeah.
The only problem is getting the backing if they don't have the necessary backing for it. But honestly, with a game, with a franchise as well known, and honestly, pretty much would sell as long as it's a good game, as long as it's nothing god awful, then they should be able to find backing. At least I hope so. So they should be fine. Hopefully. It all depends on what they can release, or at least if they can show something that they've got something in the works, some idea, some plan. At least I hope. Tell it. Did I?
Sorry,
Hello?
I'm trying to read
Oh,
this to understand this.
oh! I
Sorry.
thought I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm trying to okay. I think all right.
Hmm?
Unfortunately, I think I was wrong.
Oh.
They are not independent. They are being merged. So, okay, so Coffee Stain Group and
Hmm.
Middle Earth and Friends are being grouped together into Fellowship Entertainment.
Okay.
So they're being combined into one company
So there's
instead
a.
of two separate companies. So they're still
I mean,
in it.
mergers can be good as long as it
Yeah.
doesn't involve a mass firing of people. I'm pretty sure these are two different. I really don't think they're both game development companies, right? Or game development things,
Well,
at least.
the Middle Earth part handles the digital distribution of Lord of the Rings properties.
Mhm.
They steward the commercial rights of J.R.R. Tolkien's work, The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings.
And yeah, no, then there shouldn't be any like overlapping in terms of like any of the people who are part of those two.
Yeah,
That should be fine as long as again, like I said, as long as they have promising things in the works that they can show off and actually get people invested in, then hopefully they're fine. That's all I can say.
yeah. So it looks like they are. Yeah.
'Cause I've not heard anything from that game developer yet in a while. Or I've
What?
not heard anything about anything regarding what's it called, Lord of
Embracer
the
Group?
Rings.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Well, they have that
Yeah.
that Hobbit Animal Crossing game coming out soon.
Oh yeah, I forgot
They
about
also
that.
have
That's not. It
the.
was
Don't they have like a Dwarven Mines of Moria game?
near Mario. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Nigro playing it during his.
Yeah, they have those two. Um, they also have in terms of video games. I think those are the two big ones.
Hmm?
I mean, they still have the what's it called, the show going on as well. The Prime one. I can't remember what it's called now. So interestingly, okay, so I've okay, wow, they own a lot. They own 4A Games, Aspire Media, Crazy Labs, Crystal Dynamics, Damster, Dark Horse. Oh wow, they own Eidos Montreal as well. Holy cow, they own a lot. So like some of the games that we would know, Alchem, they own Kingdom Come Deliverance, Metro, Dead Island, Killing Floor, Darksiders, Remnant, Tomb Raider, and
Jeez.
300 other things. They also partly own. It looks like they also own like Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Simulator, Satisfactory, Tail Down Valheim. Welcome to Bloxburg is one of the ones. Yeah, they own a lot, but that's also because Coffee Stain was a big deal for the indie scene. So, yeah. So that's interesting. I thought they were becoming independent, but no, it looks like they're being merged, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But hopefully, it continues being okay. But luckily, I don't think it's going to be too bad. But we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of things that are bad, it's time to move on to the next story, Alchem. And this one might be fast because I mean it's really hard to say anything else. But I just wanted to talk about it just at least briefly. You saw the whole Borderlands 4 Randy Pitchford stuff, right? Like it was all over.
You, are you talking about the whole
If you're a real
him
fan, you'll
saying
find a way to make it
yeah?
happen.
No,
So
okay, I thought there was more than that. It was just
there
that.
was more than there was a little bit more than that.
Oh,
Um,
no, I
no,
didn't see all that, but
sorry. I meant to say there was a little bit more in his quote at least, but it was basically that. So
yeah,
basically,
yeah.
what happened for anyone who doesn't know is that on Twitter, it's been pretty rumored and honestly pretty much guaranteed that Borderlands 4, when it does come out, oh, yeah, Alchem just had a hiccup there. It's okay. We're back.
I had a stroke, guys.
Yeah,
apparently,
Alchem had a stroke. It's okay. He's fine.
It's all right.
So what happened? What happened there was, it's been pretty heavily rumored and pretty much guaranteed that Borderlands 4 is going to cost $80 on release, and a bunch of people on Twitter were either adding the CEO of Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, or just talking about it with his name so he saw it. And they said, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of consistent increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And Randy Pitchford's response is probably one of the worst responses I've ever seen.
Mhm.
So, I'm going to say his first response, or like his first point, and I'm going to not defend him, but say this part is true. And he says, A, not my call. And that is true. It is not up to Gearbox, really, and Randy Pitchford, or any of the devs in Gearbox, how much Borderlands 4 costs. It is up to 2K. He really has no... Like, if they say this Borderlands 4, when you finish it, it's cost $80, they really don't have anything to say. It's not his call. He has no say in it. That is true. And if that's all he said, I think it would have been fine. I think it would have been fine if that's all he said.
Man, literally could have just said that.
But the problem is that he did not just say those 3 letters. Because in the next sentence, he said, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991. When I was just at a high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, I found a way to make it happen. Now, that has to be one of the worst responses I've ever heard in anything. And Randy Pitchford talks a lot on Twitter, and that's one of the worst things I've ever heard. And that's saying something, because he talks a lot, unfortunately. And it was one of the worst responses.
It was
so bad.
It was everything. Response. He literally had the perfect answer in the first sentence.
In the first 3 words, not my call. If he just ended it there, everyone would be like, well, like, okay, the dumb people would be like, how can you not be your call? You're a CEO of the company, but they don't understand how this works. But most reasonable people, most reasonable people will be like, yeah, it's not his call. It's the publisher's call how much it costs.
The fact that he had to say something like that just spit in the face in a lot of gamers and a lot of the fans, because now a lot of the fans are basically going to be like, all right, you think we're going to put if you think we're going to go out of our way to pay this much for your game, think again. I think he just developed a little bit, not developed, he caused the gaming community to have a bit of a more spiteful look on Borderlands now.
I mean, now people are going to not buy it just because of this, 100%. I mean, the problem with it is that Borderlands 3... Borderlands 3 was already kind of decisive, and Randy Pitchford's attitude towards that was fine when you were making games like Borderlands 2. The problem is you've been making games like the pre-sequel in Borderlands 3 recently, and you have no right to be that cocky and say if you're a real fan you'll buy it anyway, basically.
Yeah. If this was pre-Borderlands 2, okay, you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
You can have that cockiness because the game was awesome. Borderlands the pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, the movie, no, you can't. No. You don't have the leverage to make that kind of a statement.
No, you don't.
In fact, you do that in a crowd, you would have been booed. Everyone would have immediately wanted to throw stuff at you.
This is almost as bad as do you not own phones at like the BlizzCon thing.
I was actually thinking that earlier.
This is like,
do you not own? Yeah.
Like, this is almost as bad. I still think that one was worse, but like, this is almost as bad.
You guys not own phones?
Like, to try my best to understand what he's saying. Like, it is completely out of touch. But like, I understand what he's saying. if you love Borderlands and the game costs $80, you'll probably find a way to try to pay that if you truly do like Borderlands. I understand that sentiment, but he said it in like the worst way possible. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. When you really love a game franchise, you're going to spend the money to buy that game when you can.
He's the developer, right? Or
He's the CEO of Gearbox.
Oh, he's not PR. He's not.
No, Randy Pitchford is the CEO. He's also an idiot.
He does not. He doesn't know how to handle like.
I mean, he's the same
like that kind of stuff.
It's the same guy that had that USB key stick at the medieval times.
Yeah, okay.
That whole
All
debacle.
right.
It's the same guy.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to read the room, or
he's just out of touch.
Public relations. Yeah.
He's out of touch, and also like, I'm gonna assume you don't know him as or has seen as much of stuff as I have. He's also, and I say this in like, I don't even know how to say this without. He's a douchebag. He's just not a good person. He is not a good person. To put it lightly. And so honestly, this response out of him, not surprising. But some people were very surprised. And it was also just an out of touch thing. And the $80 is a very hot topic, so everyone was talking about it anyway. And Borderlands is like not really in a good state. And the trailer for Borderlands 4 wasn't really like, it was kind of well received, but like it was kind of like, oh, okay, so it just looks like more Borderlands.
It doesn't look like it's gonna be something that flashy, that cool, that anything. It just looks like, oh, okay, another Borderlands, but nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, people make the joke of the Call of Duty games or Battlefield games being the same game, but man, Borderlands really tests that theory. Because you can argue the COD games have differences, but man, Borderlands really doesn't have any differences.
And since we're on the topic of like the rising price in video games, I feel like this is gonna open the door of people, gamers specifically, being far more skeptical, far more vocal, and for the idea is gonna start growing on to some gamers at least. That at least what I'm seeing is. They're going to start charging these excessive amounts for the games, especially when most of them are digital now and we barely have anything physical anymore. I think people are going to be far more critical of the games in general. Like, if this is an $80 game, it better be worth $80. And if it's not, people are going to tear it apart.
And it's also why, in my opinion, I think Nintendo are the only people that are going to be able to get away with this. Because
I know so far.
Well, yeah, but like when GTA, well, I mean, GTA is rumored might be $100, so who knows?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
God. Yeah.
I mean, like it's why, like I think the biggest problem with the AAA industry right now is they've been barely making games worth $60 recently.
Yeah.
Or $70. Like most of the games aren't even worth that full price anyway.
No, most of these indie games are more.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more worth in terms of entertainment and what you get out of it. They're not even $50 or $60.
The majority of the games that I play nowadays are indie games that are well worth their price. I would say sometimes undercharging. Or free to play. Because I mean, you can argue like the finals is pretty like that's high AA, but I mean it's free to play.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I technically still play League of Legends, so I guess that's really the only AAA game that I play. And Minecraft. I guess Minecraft is technically AAA as well.
Shame on you as well.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
I have not touched Minecraft in forever.
Yeah, I mean, you've never been much of a Minecraft player. But
I get bored.
But yeah, so that was just a whole debacle and very funny to me, at least as a bystander, because like I'm not buying Borderlands 4. I never cared. Borderlands 4 could be like $10 and I wouldn't buy it anyway. I'll be honest. I bought Borderlands 3 heavily on sale, and I have played like 10 minutes of it.
I played it. I was into it for. No, actually, no, I didn't. None of the characters were actually engaging or fun to play as. The story just sounded so boring, and
The story sucks in Borderlands 3.
Nothing pulled me in on Borderlands 3. In Borderlands 2, I still get a chuckle listening to that.
Yeah,
I still enjoy a lot of the lines. It's still memorable because a lot of it stuck with me. Number 3, there was no moment where I was really captivated by the characters or anything.
Other than all the cringe moments.
Yeah. So, other than, I mean, other than resting on its laurels about how good Borderlands 2 was, they really don't have. Honestly, I just want to say the sheer gall for them or balls to say, you'll find a way if you really, really want it. Well, no one wants it right now.
Yeah, not a lot of people. Not a lot of people want Borderlands 4 right now. I feel like, or at least this version of it. People want something new from Borderlands. Yeah, and I don't think this game is going to deliver it. I'll be honest.
I don't think so.
I mean, I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I don't think I am going to be.
I'm just gonna wait and see when people do reviews and playthroughs of it, and I'll just be like, okay,
yeah,
I was wrong, or I was right.
I'll let other people discover it for me, and then I'll be like, oh, that's cool. But I'm like, even if they do choose something new, I don't even know if I'm going to buy it anyway, because like I'm not a huge fan of Borderlands, and I'll just see, we'll see. But I don't think it's going to be a different enough experience for me to care. So,
but don't you want to find, Don't you want to find out and like pay that $80?
I'm not a real fan. I'm not a real fan. Let's be real. I'm a hater.
I see.
This has been well documented, Alchem. I'm a hater.
Can't believe how toxic you are. You're supposed to be a nice, friendly slime.
I am.
I thought that light bulb meant you were bright and cheery.
I am.
Just not the Borderlands.
Just not the Borderlands. I'm a hater for Borderlands.
No, you're fine. I'm kind of in the same boat here.
Yeah.
I do not expect good things from them. In fact, we've not seen anything recently anyway. Him just saying that just kind of just tarnished whatever reputation they might have had left.
Yeah. But
so, we'll just
speaking of tarnished reputations, Alchem. Speaking of that.
Oh, segue.
There is something that we talked about, I feel like months ago at this point, that I think you forgot about. I almost guarantee you forgot about. And
that's likely.
To be fair, that's not a high bar, you forgetting something, let's be honest. But, so Alchem, I'm going to say a name again, and you might remember us talking about it, but Flappy Bird. Do you remember us talking about Flappy Bird?
A while back, yes.
Yeah. So
No.
So Alchem, that Flappy Bird game is out now. And I'm about to make you happy, Alchem. Because all that weird crypto stuff that they're talking about isn't in the game. It's all gone.
Okay, then.
It's just
thank goodness.
It now.
Forget my initial panic.
It's panic, but also like, it's an Epic Games Store exclusive mobile version for some reason, and it is stuffed with microtransactions. No crypto stuff, but it is a.
Make your bird flap twice as much.
Yeah, it has so much microtransactions. It has different like backgrounds. I think it has the Flappy Bird can have a hat now that you can buy new hats and stuff like that. There's tons of ads and like in-app purchases. But funny enough, they have an official statement from the developers, and they said it will never have any Web3 elements. So no crypto, no NFT stuff. Like all that blockchain stuff that they talked about doesn't exist.
Which is good. That's good.
Which is really good.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to the olden days on the cell phones, like back then when people had their flip phones.
Oh yeah.
You played a game, it was like the most bare bones basic game. You maybe press one or two buttons,
Yep.
and then like every minute or two there was an interruption for some ad in your face.
Yep.
I was just like, is this what Flappy Bird is? Is it just basically one of those old ass phone games where I don't even know when they'd interrupt. I guess when you lose, you get an ad. Oh God, if you
It's
lose,
probably
you
when
get
you
punched
lose.
with an ad.
What most likely happens is when you lose, you get an ad, and if you get an option to watch an ad to revive yourself or something like that.
Oh my God, just
Something like
that.
that. You can also
Sucks.
buy hats for the Flappy Bird. You can buy different characters for Flappy. You can get different themes. There's different worlds apparently.
I'm
Yeah.
still just you. This is gonna be one of those. This is gonna be an actual game where losing gets you advertisement shoved in your. That sucks.
Yep.
Oh God.
I'm just gonna. Okay,
Imagine
wait.
if you were
I
watching
found
a
the
streamer on Twitch and
I
they
found the
died, they hit
trailer.
Ad button.
I found
Oh no!
the
There's
trailer.
Ah, no!
I found the trailer, and it is just it. Oh my God, Alchem! It has a Super Mario Brothers like world, like overworld, like you can select levels.
Oh, I don't like it.
And it's just
It's
Flappy Bird, but with different like levels and different styles and different themes. Yeah, so it's on the Epic Games Store on Android, which I didn't know existed.
And yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard that Epic Games has
The Epic Games Store, get it on
phone.
Android. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, I'm not gonna get it, but just
Yeah, it is.
That's what that game has become.
Yeah, it is so weird to see, and I'll be telling you, Alchem, I'm not going to be playing this one. I can't believe it though, Alchem. Like you can't like. Okay, wait. You know what? Here, Alchem. Watch this trailer. Just watch it. It's like 50 seconds long. It's 35 seconds long, Alchem. You can do this. Watch it. It's so hilarious. It's so hilarious. The most anticipated game of 2025. No, it's not.
Bullshit is here.
And just look at it. It's Flappy Bird. It's just Flappy Bird. And apparently Flappy is it's his name. And look, you see the Super Mario World thing?
It's just Flappy Bird. Don't give me this BS
it's
that
just
you can
Flappy
travel
Bird.
like in an overworld map.
Yeah.
It's literally Flap. And what was it with that music?
I'm not listening to the music. There's no way I'm getting copyrighted from Flappy Bird.
You're right. You can't do
I'm not listening to the music.
There's like epic trumpet sounds.
Oh, yeah.
It's what is going on? They're trying to make Flappy Bird be epic when it's just Flappy Bird.
It's just Flappy Bird. And yeah, Alchem. So I mean, it's a good thing, but also a bad thing. It's a great thing that they ended up not having any of that stupid crypto NFT stuff. But the game itself is like, what the heck is this? And I hope to God this isn't making tons of money. I really hope. I'm going to be so sad if it is. So yeah, Alchem. Yeah. But as
the future, by the way, that'll be $80.
Yeah, I know, right?
God.
So Alchem, as the last story is the story I talked to you about earlier this week.
Oh no.
And for me, it's a story that I was looking at and I've done videos on because I still, to this day, am not entirely sure why. But, you know, like, okay, I get kind of why, but it's also weird, in my opinion, because they don't have good reputations with this thing. So, Alchem, I know you aren't involved in this world at all, but I mean, you kind of are. Actually, no, here. Before I let me ask you something.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask you.
No.
Do you watch any esports at all? Like an occasional viewer of something?
occasional viewer from time to time, but not
Like,
not
I assume
enough
you
to know
watch.
anything.
I assume you watch like Evo. I mean, you're a big fighting game fan. I assume you
Yes.
watch Evo. But have you ever
Yeah.
watched like Counter-Strike, League, Valorant,
No,
any of that type of
No.
stuff? Not.
no.
Have you ever
No.
watched it at all, or just like period, like literally never?
Only one time, but then that was it. I kind of
Okay.
and I wasn't really paying attention that much.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You're
It
not
was
really a
mostly
player.
like hanging out with,
Yeah.
no, it was mostly hanging out with friends, and so I was just
Yeah.
chilling with everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Alchem, Riot Games has partnered with Coinbase, which is a crypto network. It's hard to say, but they've partnered up with Coinbase as an official partner for their League of Legends and Valorant esports events. So, what this means is that Coinbase, which, okay, wait, it's hard to explain what is Coinbase, because so Coinbase is a cryptocurrency exchange, and I'm probably gonna have to bring them up anyway, but basically what Coinbase is what FTX was claiming they were. Like, it's a crypto exchange where you put your crypto into Coinbase, and you can exchange it for other coins, or take it back out, or tell them to, they're allowed to use your crypto to do things with it. Oh. And Coinbase is arguably the biggest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. And to be fair, it is in terms of crypto nonsense and crypto scams and all that type of stuff, they are the most trusted, I would say. Like, they are pretty, relatively speaking, we're going on the crypto NFT basis here. They're pretty legit, with a huge asterisk of, everything in crypto is kind of not legit, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. They haven't been in too big scandals. They haven't been in, at least from my knowledge, and I like actively search for stuff like this. I've never really seen Coinbase be too up into the, terribleness. For instance, like FTX or Celsius or any of those other things that claim that they're an exchange or a bank or whatever they call themselves, Mm-hmm. So they're not too bad. But it's still really weird to partner up with Coinbase or crypto at all, because, and the reason it's crypto. The reason I wanted to ask if you have been involved, if you watched any esports at all. And actually, fighting games is actually one of the esports that I'm most disconnected with, so I don't know if it's the same for fighting games. You'll have to answer this when I say this, but crypto has a history with esports, and that history is really bad, Alchem. And by bad, I mean, for instance, you know FTX, right?
Yes.
TSM was partnered with FTX, and when FTX collapsed, TSM bombed. Like, they had a lot of money was promised to them, and they did a lot of things expecting that money, and that money never came because FTX, was FTX. And so TSM disappeared, basically. Like, they still exist in some of the esports stuff, but like, they had a League of Legends team, and they were arguably one of the best League of Legends teams. They sold their spot in League because they were so broke. Like, TSM was bleeding. And a bunch of Counter-Strike teams were backed by cryptocurrencies, and a bunch of Counter-Strike teams disappeared because the cryptocurrencies were scams. And like, everything, like, it was a scam, and like, the crypto stuff disappeared. And like, it is a lot of bad blood when it comes to crypto and esports because it was just a lot of promised money and then money never happening, or money disappearing, or actual scams, or legitimate lawsuit fraud style stuff, which some of the actual lawsuits happened because of this stuff. So it was crazy to me when I read that Riot was partnering with Coinbase. Now, like I said, in terms of crypto, Coinbase is at least more legitimate than most other places, because Coinbase is actually recognized by some like governments as an actual thing. I mean, one of the biggest things is they're legitimately registered as a business, you know? Like some of these cryptocurrency companies things aren't actually registered as companies. Coinbase is. They are actually a company, and they are, like, for instance, they're registered in Canada as a business, as a restricted dealer in securities. So like they've actually gone through some of the like legal stuff to be a actual like a trader, I guess is the best term. So they've actually done things to be a legitimate company in this weird way, you know? So like I can understand that. And the reason they partnering is because the reason Riot is partnering, and also I just want to say the difference between the two, Riot announcing this and Coinbase announcing this, Riot has like 3 very small paragraphs that says, oh, we're partnering with these guys and it'll be great. You know, the partnership's amazing. We're going to do amazing things together. Basically, you know, it's PR speak from Riot. Pretty typical. Yeah. Coinbase's announcement is like a full page. Like it is like 7 paragraphs. It's so funny that they obviously care about this a lot more than Riot does.
They're more invested, yeah.
They're way more invested because League, I'm sure for Riot, this is just another sponsor. Basically, what Coinbase is doing is they're sponsoring the LAN events, some of the LAN events for League of Legends and Valorant. They're going to be running giveaways. They're going to be running events during and drops during these esports events. So, for instance, have you heard of Worlds, Alchem? Like League of Legends Worlds?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically, if you're American, it's like the Super Bowl for League of Legends. It's the big end tournament. It's like the NBA Finals. It's like the world, like the finals and World Series for baseball. It's the big event. So they're going to be there, and they're going to be there for the finals in Valorant and like the mid-season stuff, like the big LAN events. They're going to be doing stuff for that. And from what I can tell, Coinbase is flipping all the bills. They're paying for all this stuff. So that's probably one of the reasons why Riot is okay with this, because Riot isn't actually paying for any of it. It's all Coinbase paying for this stuff. The interesting thing, in my opinion, is that Coinbase, I didn't know this, is actually in partnerships with things like the WNBA and the NBA. So like they're also involved in regular sports. Saying they also sponsor Formula F1 teams, 2 of them, and the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Clippers. So like apparently they're a lot more involved than I realized.
Well, no. Did it happen again? It did happen again.
It did happen again. Unlucky. It's okay. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, they're involved in
about how it was involved with yeah. Okay.
So yeah, they're involved in regular sports too, which I didn't even know, which is kind of crazy. Coinbase, yeah, because they
Coinbase is rather big, so it's actually not a surprise there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting for that, and one of the things that they said they're gonna do. So okay, Alchem, I'm gonna read this paragraph because I'm not entirely sure what they mean by this. Coinbase will introduce new in-game segments as part of this partnership, including a first-of-its-kind econ report in Valorant esports and gold grind in League of Legends esports, which will provide viewers with live analysis of each game's in-match currency movement and its impact on team strategies. Coinbase will unlock drops to viewers during events, including emotes and icons for fans that can redeem, and will partner on promotions with exclusive pricing, such as chances to win all-expense-paid trip for 2 to Valorant Champion Tour and League of Legends World competitions. Now, obviously, the bottom part, the last part of that is that I know what that means, but like the econ report in Valorant and Gold Grind in League of Legends and
Well, it
analysis
sounds
of
like
in-game in-match currency. I have absolutely no. I know both Valorant
it
and
sounds like
League. I don't know what that
Mhm.
means.
It sounds like a really, really dumb thing they're probably going to put to the side of the screen showing the in-game money distribution for how they're using their points or coins
See, that's what I
or
see. That's what I
whatever
think too.
currency,
But like
which is
they
useless.
in Valorant and League, they already do that.
But they want to have their name on it, Jelly.
I guess
Actually,
so.
that's probably it. It's
I wonder
literally
if
just
it's
going to be
this.
their
I
name
wonder if it's
being
the same
plastered on
thing.
it.
I wonder if it's the same thing, and it's just gonna have Coinbase on it instead.
Yeah,
That would
that's what I
be.
feel like it's going to be.
That would make somewhat sense. Because I mean, like League of Legends already has things sponsored by. Um, there's like sponsored by Honda stuff like that, or sponsored by
Mhm.
State Farm for a while as well. Replay is provided by insert whatever, or the Master. I think there was like the Mastercard Baron player or something like that for a long time. So
Mhm.
like they've had stuff like that before. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's the gold difference with Coinbase.
You know, that's all they're going to do.
That makes sense,
At
actually.
least to get
Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, at least that's what I was going to say. At least to get their name out there more.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Coinbase is rather large. It
It
is one of
is.
those like it's one of
It
those
is.
what are they called? Money trading kind of companies.
Exchanges,
So
yeah.
exchange, yeah,
Crypto exchanges
stock
is
exchange, crypto exchange,
they
that kind of stuff.
their official statement is they are a cryptocurrency exchange.
That's funny.
Coinbase Global Inc. Incorporated is their like full title. Apparently, they were founded in 2012, which is really early.
Guess I'm gonna watch and try to win that reward now. Let's go.
I mean, I do watch League, so I might see if I can actually see like if I have to make a wallet, I won't. But like from what I can tell,
Let's
the
go.
drops they're gonna stuff, it sounds like they're gonna do them in the League client, because emotes and
Let's
icons are in the League
go.
client itself.
Into
So
my wallet. Let's go.
I mean, we'll see if they turn these things into NFTs and stuff like that, and like that happens. It wouldn't surprise me, but we'll see.
I really doubt it's going to be
I
something
doubt it.
like
They'd have to get
yeah.
permission by Riot to do that. And I don't know if Riot is okay with that.
Yeah. Like, I really do think
Hmm.
it's just going to be as simple as, hey, we just have this little counter up here. Our
Yeah.
name's on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Simple
And
as
I mean,
that.
they are doing the inland stuff, like the prizes and the paid trips for the tournaments for people who participate in the prizes and stuff like that. So I mean, like they are doing a bunch of stuff for the LAN events, which I think is cool because I've actually been to a League LAN event and it was great. It was a fun time. Watching in the stadium and stuff and being there it's hype. It's hype. So yeah.
Time to win and scalp those tickets. I mean, win and enjoy those tickets.
Yep. So yeah, Alchem. That was the final story for today. Unless you have
Alright.
anything else to add or final comments.
No.
Okay. Then why don't you do some
Well,
shout outs?
All right, shout out to my mom, because if it wasn't
true.
for her, I wouldn't be here.
That is true. And your
Shout
dad,
out.
technically.
And my dad too, because he put in 50% of the work. There we go. And and all right. And for real though, thank you everyone who joined in for the podcast. You guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Alchem. I'm the co-host of the podcast. I'm usually a little Tanuki VTuber, but I've been staying in this look for lately for the podcast, which I think is all right. And if you want to catch me on my own streams live on Twitch or on YouTube, or you can catch me there where I play a wide variety of games, doing my own thing. You can also catch me over on TikTok and Twitter, where I put out shorts and TikTok clips and other stuff that I think is funny, interesting, or just stuff that I'm interested in. I've also started to post on Instagram, so that's cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was scrolling through Instagram. I was like, "What the heck is this, Alchem?" Oh, yeah, it is.
Yep. I'm trying to do more. And what else was I gonna say? So yeah. If you want to support me on my side of things, There's all those factors. Simply just popping in, saying hi, being part of the community, chatting away with me. If you want to support in other ways, there's always bits, donation subs. That's never necessary, but it is always appreciated. And plus, you can always support by just popping in here on Sundays, where we usually have the podcast. Where like I said, where I just co-host alongside my friend, the Techno Jelly.
And hello, everyone. I am the Techno Jelly. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe. I really appreciate it on my YouTube channel over at the Techno Jelly. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and once I do, I'll be doing a Q&A video. If you're interested in that, please subscribe. You just heard Alchem and I's opinions on all the things. Comment down below what you guys think about all the topics. Alchem's links are in the description. He always forgets to say it, but, you know, I'll say it for him. If you like to follow me on other platforms, I have a Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Threads. Any of those social media platforms at the Techno Jelly. If you want to support the podcast directly, I have a Patreon at the Techno Jelly as well. You get some exclusive stuff. It is currently being reworked because Patreon hates me, but it's okay. As we declared in this podcast later, I am a hater and deserve it, so that's okay. I'm also trying to get this onto Spotify as well, so hopefully we'll be on Spotify soon. And other than that, thank you everyone for watching this episode of Two Buds One Podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in another episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Later, everyone.